Welcome back, family, to another episode of Walking in Wisdom, formerly Sosa Walking in Wisdom. And on this platform, we do everything character analysis, and we believe more than ever in the 21st century, character matters, whether it's on the global stage, whether it's in local politics, whether it's regional, whether it's your home, your own business, character matters. And if you're a parent and you have been blessed, being trusted with beautiful children, it's important that you not just tell your kids about good character and how to be a good person. It's important that you display character. We know more than ever this generation, Generation Z and younger, they model your behavior. They would say, don't tell us, show us. That means, as a leader, start with self-leadership is about leading by example. And as a result of that, we are able to come here on this platform as a leadership coach. But on my downtime, I enjoy Nollywood movies. So I say I'm a Nollywood aficionado. Sometimes I have members of my team join me on the movie we're watching, and we have a conversation, share with my siblings as well, have a discussion, and then we discuss everything character analysis and why you should go and support and enjoy all the different Nollywood movies. Indeed, it's about the lessons learned. And if you listen to most of your fans, your Nollywood actors and actresses and producers when being interviewed, or if they're putting a storyline, is all indeed about a story. So if you have been joining us on our journey, we're up to 161 subscribers. And with this elite group, it's all about everything leveling up, building our character. Now that we know better, man and woman of faith, you desire to do better. And it starts with, yes, the man and woman in the mirror. Join us on this journey. It's simply about looking at the movies, consider the lessons that are being portrayed, and we provide you with the analysis on how to, so you can then do the work in the privacy of your own home. And if you desire to do better for 2026, because we could all improve, no one is perfect, join us on this journey by simply hitting that subscribe button and smashing that thumbs up, drive the algorithm, fan out, share, let folks know about this platform. And during the holiday seasons, if you're celebrating, because not everyone is, if you are celebrating, it's a beautiful downtime to reflect and again level up indeed. And of course, this platform was inspired by no other than Sonia Uche, a woman of character, woman of grace. And she is at 1.18 million subscribers. If you have not joined her on her wonderful journey based on the wonderful movies she has put out there, lessons learned, please be sure to join this beautiful young lady, daughter of grace, woman of virtue, and it's all about everything character. So she's not perfect. No one is. And it's not about idolizing her, but commending her on taking a stance, soaring like an eagle, as opposed to playing and fighting with the chickens. It's time to get a coins. It's time to set an example because you're a role model. And to get a brand going as well, it's important to display good character. And we say good for her. So today, we're excited to present to you another Sounds movie. This time, the handsome Maurice Sam is joining her on her platform, Sonia Uche Television, and we're going to consider a mix of love. We're going to get into it. And even though the show really display a woman in distress and using alcohol consumption to battle her woes. We all know that alcohol is abusive to yourself and to others. It can cause you to commit suicide or homicide, so it's not something that we support. And I think most of the world knows it. And we strongly encourage you, if you're seeking your comfort in alcohol or any type of substance abuse, we encourage you to get professional help that you need. Today, we're not talking about that because that's like the obvious, right? And the storyline gives you a lot of important points about not drowning in your sorrows. Today, we're going to discuss the concept of self-control. That's the word temperance, if we consider the Bible indeed. Before you do, I want to show you some important, beautiful clips of this movie. We're so excited because, yes, indeed, Sums is back. Let's consider one of my favorite parts of the movie, looking at love, grace, and strength, and just wonderful acting. Indeed. Now, this part of the movie, if you have not seen it, we strongly encourage you to do so. So I'm not going to give it away. This is not about breaking down the movie. It was wonderfully executed, and we could clearly see in this script the storyline, but we could also see the acting skills of this young lady, um, looking like she's totally out of it. And as this handsome stranger helps her to her car, let's look at his strength indeed, and I love it. Let's look at that dead drop, hair flowing, hands flaying, really showcasing that indeed this person is totally out of it. And yes, indeed, look at the hands swinging. Very well done indeed. Very well done indeed. And in addition to that, I want to show you another important part of the movie that I really love because I noticed in this movie that they spent a lot of time just showing um, the rapport and the dynamics between these two actors, right? So sometimes it's just some simple words and lines, but it's the chemistry. That's what I wanted to say. The chemistry between this couple, indeed. And one of my favorite lines I want to show you, parts of the movie, I think is about here. And look at that dress. She looks absolutely stunning. And the gentleman that he is. I have to show you this family because I was screaming. Look at this. One of the favorite parts of the movies, again, they are really giving fans what they want. Make it something so service-like, but very intimate indeed. He came to sister, but yet they made this particular scene so intimate. This is perfection when it comes to storytelling. This is perfection when it comes to giving the fans what they want, is that it's their chemistry on screen. And I absolutely love it. Now, yes, now we can get into the importance of self-control, the importance of temperance. If you're a man or woman of faith, it's important to note that when we speak about self-control and discipline, these are virtues. And I think if you consider the different religions in the world, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Hinduism, whether it's a Christian faith, whether it's Judaism, whether it's a more Zen life, there's a level of discipline that comes along with it. And though I'm a woman of faith and I don't ascribe to theology, I subscribe to biblical teachings that's written in the Word. We also talk about the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:21, 22. I've stated that many times on this platform. And one of the virtues consisting of fruit of the Spirit is temperance, aka self-control. And what I like about this movie with Murray's character, he showed total discipline and self-control with every interaction he had. Um, let's look at this piece right here. And you see the difference between losing it and having a level of self-control. Let's look at it. In this particular scene, you're going to see the interaction between Maurice Sam's character and Sonia Uche's character. And he looks a bit agitated because he wanted to know why she returned to her bow. But there's going to be an interaction coming in here with Ansem Anthony Wood. So in this particular movie, I'm trying not to give volume so I don't get ding. In this particular part, he's trying to convince Sonia's character to stay, and Murray's character saying, if the lady's asking to go home, why don't you take her home? And again, look at the difference in terms of character and the mannerism. So that should tell you the difference also between your Dougal. Your Dougal shouldn't be finger pointing. Your Dougal shouldn't be shouting in your face. Your Dougal shouldn't be pulling you along the line. And again, Murray's character, self-control, temperance versus lack of self-control, lack of discipline. And that's what we're going to get into today because I think this scene really gives you a good example of what that looks like. And if you're a man or woman of faith, it's important that we possess those qualities as we get into 2026 if you desire to level up indeed. And the whole concept of self-discipline is interwoven, right, with first having the wisdom to know that I need to be more disciplined. And that's why I say this platform, when we consider character, we're looking at a man and woman in a mirror, building self-leadership, leading your feet to make right choices, right? Only then we can then direct or give a mandate to our elected officials and others, right, that are currently underperforming for the most part. And it's with that wisdom and understanding we consider with the self-control, which is one of the virtues of the fruit of the Spirit, you have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control indeed. And this whole race, when you consider what is stated in the Bible, is all about living a life of wisdom, having self-control, don't know when it's perfect. And if you lack it or once in a while you lose it, this is the time in your life you should be considering the virtue of temperance or self-control indeed. And part of that is having that discipline. The discipline, which requires a level of intentionality. We've spoken about being very intentional, and this entire process about cultivating good habits and stumping out negative, toxic habits. You have to be intentional about what you desire in your life, and you have to be intentional, my apologies, of what you desire in life and intentional of what you plan to do and the earmark when you plan to do it. Because with habits, you grow better habits and you break bad habits because you're doing it in a more consistent fashion. And that can really begin with prayer, man or woman of faith, studying the word, what does the Bible talks about, and really being part of a group of individuals who also are like-minded, right? Can two walk together? Let's do you agree? We spoke about that scripture before in the book of Amos, and we've also spoken about being in like-minded company, right? And being not unequally yoked in your friendship as well, right? If you're hanging around with someone who loses their temper, or if you're in a relationship with someone who loses their temper, Wahala, that's Wahala in the making. That's a problem. And it's important that you know that and you move out of harm's way. Because if that person is not cursing you out, if that person is not beating up on you, eventually you will have your turn if you continue to stand in the way. That person has to work on him or herself, refer my videos to that person, right? If it's not that serious, if you can do it on your own. And of course, if it's more substantive in nature when it comes about, when it deals with um, substance abuse, you need to get professional help. So self-discipline is challenging. No one is saying it's going to be easy, but it's about desiring to do better once that you know better. And when you're disciplining yourself, the scripture says that the Father chastises or disciplining those he loves. So if we've been disciplined by him for whatever reason, and if we've been disciplined, if we're trying to discipline ourselves, right, cut down those cravings, whether it's food, let's just say you love food and it's an excess. If it's an excess, you don't have discipline or self-control, then you become a gluttony, right? And if you become gluttonous because you're into gluttony, then that's also one of seven sins as well. So again, man or woman of faith, be mindful. This movie has so many different dimensions. But as we consider the contrast between lack of self-discipline and discipline, or lack of self-control and self-control, we can see in terms of the different dimensions of the different characters that's on display. And indeed, it is a beautiful thing, indeed. So if you have not seen this movie, we strongly encourage you to do so. And here's another example. I'm not going to get into it, but again, here you have the two encounter, a strong contrast between discipline, lack of discipline, control, lack of self-control in terms of mannerisms and behavior. And of course, Sonia Uche character, because of a lack of control, is the reason for her alcoholic consumption, right? And there are issues that she needs to deal with, but I think that's fundamental. Everyone knows that. So it's about seeking professional help. If we're looking to level up in 2026, be sure we need to consider what it looks like when we're speaking about control and lack of self-control indeed, family. And this is definitely on display when we consider these characters. So having said that, don't want to be ding. We want to encourage you to go out and look at A Mix of Love. This movie, which I love, almost 3 hours long. It could have easily been 6 hours long. My apologies. It could have easily been 6 hours long. I would have still enjoyed it. And what was very clever about the movie is the way they use the time. Um, that's really making that chemistry work amongst the individuals. And of course, here we see um, a beautiful piece of Chisholm, Sonia's best friend in the movie, beautiful young lady, and so supportive, it appears from this side. And in the movie, she played that very supportive friend as well. When it came down to getting what we need. And I'm going to stop it here because I don't want you to see the end if you have not seen the movie. The point of the matter is, in this particular discipline and character analysis, we're looking at discipline and control, self-control, and how in doing so, as a man or woman of faith, if you're on your faith walk and you plan to do better in 2026, whether it's for your family, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your business, employees, whatever that may be, in order to build better character, build good character, let's consider having that level of self-control and discipline. And if that's not you, then you could get the ball rolling in 2026. And you can begin with the first step. The first step is to be intentional. Understand that, yes, I am a loose cannon, right? And I need to have more control. And you can simply start by denying yourself, right? We have a generation of individuals that want things instantly in a microwave second. And you can start denying your flesh, the carnal part of you, simply by saying no. If something comes up and you want it right now and you want to discipline yourself, you can simply say no. That's the first start. Say no to yourself, reject yourself, and understand why you're doing it. And if you continue to reject your immediate needs, especially if it's not good for you and you have self-control. And again, self-control, fill in the blank, whether it's sexual in nature, whether it's substance abuse, whether it is gossip, whether it is your lack of control with your money, you don't save, you just want to shop and spend. These are all things that speaks to being a loose cannon. It's not just in temper, right? So do the work, reject yourself, reject your flesh, say no, contain that need just to go off and do whatever you want to do, and learn to discipline yourself and say no. And I would say that concludes this character analysis of Mix Your Love. We just give you a spin. Because even though it's about love and marriage and romance, and again, looking at a beautiful relationship, I know Sonia Uche definitely wants you to be able to learn from it. And we just took a different spin. I love the mild-mannered character on display with Marie Sam's character. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. Family, see you in 2026 calendar year. And as always, shalom.